red day. So CPI definitely terminated this recent advance that we have. I have Mike with me today. Mike and I were uh, exchanging messages in the chat room yesterday, and I said, it's interesting with the S&Ps were up 40 handles or so that you still had an update in the VIX. And I said, I don't know, could that be a market tell? Yeah, I'm not saying I bet on it and got short, but to me it was at least a warning. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And you know what? I think that whoever they were positioned for,
Yeah,
as you said, better coach, especially since a lot of things were running up to resistance in
yeah.
hindsight. But we're not splitting the atom. It was just, it was by the rumor, sell the news, in my opinion. But as I said, I'm going to go back probably to your 9:30 video, if you will, and I am going to, disseminate the information. Apparently, from what I understand, something with the had to do with the food supply, the food contracting. That was the real reason why they took them down even more than I maybe thought they would. Is I mean, it's only an hour and 5 minutes into trading.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. Listen, this is another. If I throw out a cliche, a 27-year now cliche, it might be more today of how we finished, not how we started.
Mike, you bring up history, and yesterday resonated with me because back in my days in Chicago, the CBOT used to trade silver
Right.
and grains.
Uh-huh.
And, the huge action we had in silver yesterday before this pullback, and I still believe the bottom's in. But if you look at it, there was kind of the energy on the CBOT floor that soybeans and silver traded together, very similar patterns. And, we had a huge move up in the beans yesterday. So there you go. I mean, this goes back to the late 70s, people on
Again,
the floor.
once again, we're going back to a 50-year time span.
Yeah, where beans and silver traded together. And just wanted to point that out. Also, yesterday, I brought up over the weekend a couple of guys whose work I respect were saying the same thing. They're looking for a peak this week and a 2-week sell-off. And, the $1 million question is, okay, the sell-off is beginning. How deep is it going to be? And for me, the important thing, and it looks like, 3,900, 3,890 is going to be the line in the sand to test this trend line out again. The more bullish thing would be to hold it, but I'm not sure what's going to happen here if they're just going to blow through it. And that's about it. So, to me, what I would be doing now between now and early October is scalping.
Yeah,
And
I'll get
and
on
that's
that. Okay.
yeah, and that the next like window for like, positioning or swinging, I'm going to wait for early October.
Yeah, no, that's you know what? I'm happy to hear it, for lack of a better term. It doesn't mean we're right, but that was my plan coming in. Listen, the market changed a little bit of dynamic. It was a swing trading market for the past 2 weeks to a month, if you will, and maybe call it 2 weeks, because nobody sometimes realizes the swing trading market until it really starts happening. So
Well,
same with
we
me.
identified this, Mike, a week ago.
Yes.
Right around the 39.20 was 61.8, and we just had one little more stop hunt, and that was a heck of a move.
No, it was. And you know what? That's why I edified my statement in swing trading. And the best of, you know what? Some squeeze stocks didn't work, if you will, for lack of a better term. I don't like using that term, but it's a universal term. But you know what? I stuck. I didn't. It wasn't. The best of breeds. Had a little bit of best of breeds, if you will, and those are changing dynamically, if you will. But again, it's within the frame of Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Google right now is really the problem, by the way, if you want to talk about today. But I was saying we facetiously to a degree at Apple yesterday at 161, 162. Now here we are at 156. Meta is a stock that's breaking. So listen, like Lewis had said before, when you talked about the first statement of scalping, the swing trading is out. The fact that I like the VIX is elevated, I like, because my greatest acumen, I don't think anybody will deny the fact that I'm pretty good, and that's whatever you want to call it at the day trading. So taking advantage of price anomalies, and I'm not talking about I don't have any algorithm. I'm just talking about the universe that I send to you basically every day on my screen, and some ancillary stocks that might be either a tag along with that.
You know what else you sent yesterday in main chat that I thought was, you know, pretty much experience and just seeing markets for many decades. Let me quote you. This rally is not sustainable
No,
unless they break the VIX, which they didn't. So your intuition yesterday was saying we're getting close to the end of this thing.
well, I appreciate that, Coach. And the thing about the statement was, though, after we've had this move up, as you showed on the spies, if you will, I could have said that at what, 3, 4, 5 days ago, but it's
Right.
at that level right before the number. And just like Lewis said this morning as well, we're very in tune with what's going on with our levels. Sentiment, I think, helps us a great bit. Listen, it's a perfect amalgamation of sentiment and technicals is what we use, predicated upon volume, stocks with volume, good range, and good price action relative to how they should be acting to the indices or the respective stocks. That's it.
Okay, so why don't you take over the screen and show us what you're doing today? You know, even on down days like this, would you say that the board is pretty much red? Is there any green happening? Where would people find green on a
Well,
day like
well,
this?
let me first of all share the screen, and then I'll sign into TradeGATEHub. Right here. Hold on, and we'll go into trade. Like I say, every morning I sign in just the same as everybody else. And I'm going to answer your question immediately. Oh, there you are, Coach. Look at that guy. I gotta delete you for a second. Okay, this is my This is basically my universe for today. Something, you know what? I'll even do a shot now. Hold on a second. Screen share. Where is it? Right here. Hold on. So, hold on. There is some green. Well, you know what? I'll show my positions. I don't even care. I'm actually long 121,000 shares. I'm down $7,000 today. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So those are my positions right now. Square, I have a position. I was up in it. DocuSign. I'll go over these all afterwards. So that's my position right now. I did take some profits. All right. So this is my universe today. As we're not shy, right here. All right. So here are the spies. Here are the cues. Everything's grouped accordingly as they've been moving, respectively. Meaning, if I think TDD is in, whatever type of, it's expansive. I don't know how to put it in, but let's look at the payment processor. So I use the best ones that have been acting the best, like PayPal. There's some green in the screen, as it should. Like, by the way, if I were to turn on the screen and just see this, no matter what day or so, I could probably guess what happened, knowing that there was some type of economic number with the grains, as you said, CF and Moss. With even the solars the solars were down a very, very, the bottom on run was 35.70. Right now it's 37, as high as 38. They have a couple of squeeze CPRX. I'm still in. I want to buy it, and this is the chart on Apple. And if I'm jumping around, bear with me.
Do you like the clean energy play, particularly solar? They've had decent rallies.
Yeah,
lately
I like
because of okay.
Okay, no, I'll answer your question. I like RUN. And RUN is a stock that it's probably one of the stocks that is in the S&P, or it's an index fund. It's a lot of these small index fund consisting of solar or renewable energy. SPW.
Like an ETF?
TAN is the ETF, and I've been bullish on TAN, as Lewis will know, and I'm still bullish on TAN. I think this, and I'm not alone again, but like again, I don't care if this is a chart of widgets. Knowing that what's going on respectively with inflation, the economy, and oil, it plays heavily into that triple. Here's the weekly. I mean, it's had some move in, and the one that I like most right now, it's not even a safe play. It's Sunrun. Now it has a lot of California subsidy hangovers, but right now it used to be a best of breed. Trust me. I think the chart looks great. I like the fact the volume here. The RSI is not overbought. That's the one I'm continuing to buy in the fund. But let's look at the one that's led the way up, which is ENPH. Still this stock in April, 3 months, doubled.
Yeah.
It's still hanging in there. And by the way, it's still underowned to a degree. And these are one of these sectors like the oil plays that these might take, this could be one of these cycles that you might want to be in, sticking with the best of breeds.
Yeah, because the last couple of years they got trashed, didn't they? I mean, long term.
Well, look at Fizzler. Fizzler, all of a sudden, First Solar, June, July, August, but 4 months went from 6 to all of a sudden they discovered Fizzler. So I mean, and
Could it
by
be
the
the
way,
bill that just passed?
that, I agree with that, but I don't definitely don't think that it's buy the rumor, sell the news on this, because a stock like a solar bill, it's not like a semiconductor book to build it. It's looking good for the next couple of quarters. I mean, this is
Okay.
something that has, residual value for
Longevity.
years to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like the sector. In the end, if you don't want to know, here's my sector here. Hold on. I have TAN, show you my screen. And the group together, SPWR, Run, Plug, EMP8 Solar, BE's the small one. The one that they're talking about now a lot is Maxon. Let me go to the chart, Maxon, and I'll show you right now if I'm on my P&L. Maxon's right here. This is a
And
chart.
then after this sector, the bios were getting a lot of play on financial television yesterday.
I was short label XBI yesterday, actually. And this is the 2-minute chart. It finished at the high. I was trying to get sexy because, hold on a second. Let me just go back to TradeGATEHub, and this is important. After margin calls, AMD, now a good idea. I'll get back to you, G Money. Good call. Let me get back to what I said yesterday, Coach. And this, listen, a pro, call me what you will, might not always be right or on time. We are usually early, but as I said, where is this right here? Square working well. Bear with me because it's really
Yeah, you had everything. You came in long this week, pretty long.
And I said, those are the sectors. No, I'm going to get back to it. This is important. And I said, Goldman, by the way, Newmont had a Goldman upgrade, by the way, that acted well on the bottom. I'll finish in a second.
It's okay. Despite this sell-off in euro and gold, everything today,
Yeah.
bonds, I still have confidence, especially on the silver side, that the lows are in for a while. And you should almost look at this pressure on the markets because of what the markets think the Fed is going to do as a gift for if you didn't get long to be able to. That's the way I view the sell-off in silver and so far in the euro as well.
I said it. I need a short. And I'm listening, Coach. I'm gonna start in these things.
Yeah.
Yesterday, right here, sold. So I was selling things. SE. When like Rev says, when QQQ breadth is 94 gainers to 8 decliners, it's evidence in the indices and ETFs are driving the action, and they are. It's only a matter of what stocks are heavily leveraged again to the respective ETFs. But the rotation is evident. And I don't want to say it's healthy. And even G Money, Gerard asked something about margin calls after AMD. Let me go to the AMD chart. And this is something that this is something, an example where a margin call would happen, especially because it's tied to crypto. I mean, AMD had anybody that was long AMD from the bounce from 100, and that's a big move to 77. It bounced from 77 to 85. Now you're looking at it break, another dollar down. Then the margin. No, I don't like it. Listen, Gerard, it depends on your time frame. AMD, if you flip the chart over, I'd probably be long it, wouldn't you, Coach?
Yeah.
If I flip that chart over, that's
it
a
looks
long.
like it might be trying to carve something out, but I could also see it taking out
No,
70.
I just it's in the wrong. Let's look at MU.
Wrong sector.
Let's look at our respective sector. MU. Let's look at ON Semiconductor, which has held up the best. That's the one you want to buy, but even that looks like a crowded, obvious, safe play. You know what I mean? Even at this point, Nevada, obviously, if we're going to AMD, we're going Nevada. Where's Nevada? So
Ugly.
everybody knows AMD and Nevada to a degree. A little crypto involved here and there is, they go together. So you want to go to the former best of breed. There's Nevada. You can go to the ancillary ones. You can go to stocks like Intel. Let's go even a step further. There's Intel. I wouldn't buy that with Lewis's money. You know what I'm talking about? So
I wouldn't sell it here either.
You wouldn't?
No.
All right. I don't think you're gonna listen. This is the thing. I don't noted, but I don't think you're gonna get paid on anything. If you're gonna go to that type of chart, noted by the way, I just want to get to something sexier. Maybe I will go to AMD. You know what I mean? AMD's what is it? The end of the quarter. You're coming into OPEX. The end. AMD Intel's at 30. You might get a half a point. You might get 29.5 to maybe 31. Well, not bad, but you have to be.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you're gonna have to be very right on those parameters to catch that
You
But I
know,
got it until.
on a risk off day like this, I would expect WTI to be sharply lower. It isn't. And we had a pretty good rally last week in WTI, and the oil shares have been acting better than the oil itself for a long time. They still shaping up or what? Oh,
Well,
there's
hold on.
Chevron.
Let me go right here, and let me just finish something on where I go. At which point do you place aggressive short? It's another good. Listen, Lewis, in this type of market, uh, the buys go higher and the shorts go lower. So you want to short lower, you do, and buy hot, you do. It's not like we said, it's not a swing type trade market. I know you'll agree. So you know what? If you're not that good of a shorter, it's a lost art. Uh, I short, but just wait for an opportunity, and cash is a position. I know it's not sexy. I know how you trade, and I appreciate it. That's why. But just cash is a position, so let's not shorten it. You know what I mean? If I'll tell you the situation, maybe not the short, or where sign is when stocks get washed out. There's Microsoft. This is a gap down.
Yeah.
This is a day away from a catastrophe. It really is. I'm not to open
Yeah.
it there, but this is one news story away on this reversal to catastrophe. Maybe where is it? To 255. They're at least 250. Let's look at the Roku. Netflix now below the 50-day moving. Here's Google. There's Google, the worst of them all. And by the way, I don't know how much pull it has. I don't know how it's weighted in the NASDAQ, but this is one of the big daddies, and it is heavily owned still. I get it's a fine
What's up?
position.
New loads.
No, there's Google. So I don't know. I'll leave that at the professionals. I'll go to my crew. I do have a crew, thank God. I'll ask what the opinion about Google is going forward. It does have that much weight, because I'm telling you, that's not a good sign when Google even psychologically is near 100. Fine.
And this is where people felt safe. I even heard people say it's like their flight to safety stock.
But you know what? That's
Right?
why Apple was going up in this move, Coach. And
Yeah.
it still looks okay. It's still above the 200-day. You know what? If Apple goes up from here, I'm not necessarily saying that's the best thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Twilo back to margin call territory. Roblox. Well, not Roblox. What else? Square.
Really tough to trade when you look at the close in Apple and then news like this today. And you went home thinking, the lows are in. And then you have the CPI, and all of a sudden everything you made yesterday is gone. Not easy.
No, well, like I say, any move, unless there goes a red to a green, any move higher will be something that people will lighten up. And not to sound hypocritical, because I'm not, I'll lighten up into some cash as well. So
Again, taking partial profits never looked more
no,
important to me, Mike.
absolutely, I did. I took profits into the run up. You see, I'm not. What am I down? I got $1 million on. I'm down $7,000 for the day. What's that? That's
0.7%.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
whatever it is. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not even that. And it's anything that I'm in. I probably, well, except for a couple of little low floors, you could put that I'm not. I would probably do again or buy again, but by no means am I looking to take a position in. Let's look at JP Morgan. The Fast was a beautiful. Look at Fast. Now Fast went from the penthouse to what do they call it, whatever they want to call it. You know what I mean? That's the triple ETF for the financials. Goldman was on everybody's bull flag list yesterday. Now it's testing the 50-day on the downside. Again, you know how I feel about the 50-day, and I'm not alone. It's a major indication short term. So that went from a bull flag to breaking down the 50-day. So you know what I mean? I don't know yet.
And the yields are higher. Would be a day you would think there'd be some flow into the banks.
No, absolutely.
Higher yields, right?
I'm going to see about. Listen, I'm going to see about the. Look at Signet Jewelers. I short this yesterday from 64, $8 lower.
Even short healthcare, which is where everyone's hiding, in utilities and healthcare, defensives, grocery stores. Mike, you own any?
You know what? I'm going to buy. I looked at today. I looked at Kroger. It's not the second. Look at Kroger had a nice move the other day. It wasn't really. They had good news. See what the volume.
It's negating the breakout today.
Well, it isn't. It's what? Well, I want
negating the breakout.
Yes, no, I want 50s. Well, I'm going to buy a little bit here. It's not. Listen,
Okay.
It's not a barn burner. You asked about a grocery store, and I looked at it this
Okay.
morning because I saw what? It doesn't matter what they did. I saw a stock a couple of days ago that had a range from 48.5 to 52
Yeah.
on huge volume and acted well and finished at the high. That's on my resumption trade. I'm on that to watch if it resumes that action, maybe a day or two later. So you asked about a grocery store. My mind clicked, boom, Kroger reacted well. I'm not sure when I'm going to do it yet, but when you asked me, I knew what a grocery store was acting well. I knew it's defensive. I knew that should be on my mind, predicated upon those 3 good trading parameters. And I don't know if I'm going to do anything, but Kroger comes to mind.
Okay. Anything else on your radar you want
Well,
to
this
share
is
today before we
again, well, it
sign
is.
off?
Hold on. For anybody that's not the active scalper, which is probably what you should be doing, and only scalp the good ones, because then your positions will be, your trades will become positions. So let's go to yesterday. Yesterday, you should have watched it. Today, you should watch yesterday's YouTube video about Monday's data that is the most, or going or trickles throughout the week. But I will post a couple some things right here that I went through this morning. Joe, but
Man, bearish sentiment should really build in a couple weeks. Don't you think? I mean, it was pretty bearish before the rally we had last week. In fact, there were more bears, I think, last week or the week before than there were into June lows. There was more bearishness at higher price levels than there was in June.
All right, hear about this as well.
I saw that.
Sentiment trader. By the way, you guys got a lot of pull. And by the way, I'm mixed. In 22 years of doing this, none stand out like this one. The bottom line is institutional traders and next speculative, they have a huge amount of put options. So when they cover, I don't know how. Let me go back to this again. And that was just one point predicated upon a previous statement that I said. See this, by the way, Monday's data is movers, up and down, upgrades, downgrades, economic schedule for the week. Well, you know what? You can get the dollar, by the way, great chart from Helene. But you know what? Speculation, or there's the wave theory, and I will put a hedge fund exposure. They're still way under invested, if not short. So I'm not sure if we test 2 new lows. I know at one point, the rally felt like a little bit of a balloon underwater, and now it kind of popped. And you just got to see where they scramble to now. Predicated on today's close, oil, the bonds, like you said. If Microsoft settles, where Apple settles, there is, you kind of want these stocks like CF and MOS to reverse and go down, and then to pick up a little bit of these other, stocks on sale. But I don't think they're going to be running. I don't think it's going to be a major red to green day. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't feel
plenty
like
of time during the week.
The best case for me is sideways chop holding 3,800.
That would be, you know what?
For a few weeks.
That would be best for me too. Absolutely.
And maybe they got a lot of this fear of the Fed out of the way. They priced in for a while. They were thinking 50 for the Fed. For sure, they have 75 priced in. They're probably talking 1 now.
No, I didn't see that one. I'm going to go through it. Like I said, I'm going to do my homework. Right now, I'm trying to trade price action. As I sign off in a couple of minutes, I'm going to go through your video at 9:30. Then I'll read the business pages, which is my Twitter feed, and I'll bounce ideas through off my peers, and then I'll take Tony Pistachio for a walk, and I'll get back and I'll write a stocks of list higher than lower that are breaking, my list, and it should be everybody's list too. And then you start checking things off that are working well, pivotal, that work well with pivots. Everybody gets with the flow of what we do. Why so funny?
No, I'm just Tony.
Yeah,
Tony, I think of him, it makes me smile. Anyway, here's my advice: let the dust settle.
Yeah, and listen, I have noted, Coach. I'm not minimizing that statement. I agree too, and I'm not doing anything. I'd love to. I'm here. Everybody knows I'm here for the week. I'm freaking almost hunkered in for the winter. We're going to kill the rest of the quarter and go into the end of the year strong. Fact is, by the way, I'm not a superstitious guy, and after 25 or 26 years of numbers, and I do look at them, I don't have to knock on wood. It's my best quarter, and I'm looking forward to everybody hopping on and trading well again. So, here's a chart on Uber. Looks good if you want to be an active trader holding up. You just got to have a couple of stocks that are holding up well. Obviously, Fizzler holds up well. NIO is actually holding up well here at the 200 day. So they're a great video again. You boys are legends. No, you're a legend, Joe. Keep posting those charts. Coach, you have anything to say?
Let the dust settle.
Okay.
And leave the vacuum in the closet.
Okay, that's
for
good.
A day or so.
All right, we're going to take Tony out. We're going to make a list of winners and losers and share ideas, and we'll see you after lunch. All right.